Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down through the generations. But what if those legends were true? My name is Miranda Young, and I'm the Ghost Biker. Hey everybody, happy Thursday night. You are watching the Ghost Biker Garage Live, and we are back with a wonderful live guest. I know the last couple shows that we've had live investigations, which have been so much fun. Last week was wonderful. We were over at the historic Scott County Jail and at the old historic bank building, and we did a follow-up to our experiment with the haunted World War II cot that we've been investigating in different locations to try to see, doing some different experiments to see if we can determine whether it's the location that's affecting the item or if possibly the item is increasing the activity at the location. And then just taking this item to a couple different interesting places with varying degrees of paranormal activity and seeing some of the different experiments to see if we can get some of the same responses in a different controlled environment. So I want to thank you guys that tuned in last week. It was actually quite a cool investigation, and we got some really interesting results. And we will be doing a live review show of that coming up probably next week. But this week, we're taking a break from doing that and going back to having a wonderful live guest. So just want to say hello to some of the folks over here in the chat room. I hope you're having a great week. We finally had a week without rain here in East Tennessee. I mean, all year long, we have just had nothing but storms and rain. And I think this is the first time we've actually had 4 days in a row without any rain. But be on the lookout because this weekend it's supposed to actually get pretty rough. So I hope you all are having a great weather week where you're at as well. Hello to Mr. Daryl Paulette there with Clover Hill Village. Hope you're doing well, sir. Miss Kim Brady. I hope you all are staying well over there in South Carolina. Mr. Bob Burnell, it's always wonderful to see you. Thank you for always being such a wonderful supporter and wonderful friend and tuning in. Miss Nancy Weems, hello. Good evening to you. Hello, James Brady. A lot of great friends on here that tune in every week. I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all tuning in every week. That just means so much. Miss Jolly Goins, hello to you. And of course, Miss Sonia Thompson there in North Georgia, the original zombie herself. Miss Anderson there from Bedford Paranormal, hello to you. Hope you guys are doing well. And Miss Lori West, hello. Yes, the rain has definitely felt like it's never going to stop. And like I said, I think we're heading on into another bout of rain here this week, and actually some pretty severe storms. But speaking of rain, we were supposed to have this coming weekend let me get this pulled up, our motorcycle ride, our Rolling Through History ride and museum tour that was going to be taking place on Saturday at the historic Scott County Jail. This is a 98-mile motorcycle ride along the Cumberland Plateau here in East Tennessee. Going to be meeting down in Harriman, Tennessee, and riding through some amazing and beautiful area up here, and then stopping at R.M. Brooks General Store, which is an absolute favorite of ours. Let me pull up. There we go. Make that a full screen. It's absolute favorite. Some of you have joined us on that ride, but it's so much fun to be able to partner with them. So we're going to have an hour-long stop at R.M. Brooks General Store, and then we're going to travel through the Big South Fork, and it's going to end with a guided tour of the historic Scott County Jail Museum. And of course, your admission, it gets you a free poker chip. It gets you a tour of the jail, the motorcycle ride, and such. Now, that was supposed to take place this weekend, but out of an abundance of caution and concern for the storms that's coming up on Saturday, I think we're at like a 70% chance of rain. We already had a built-in rainout date on this event, and so that rainout date is June 28th. So we officially decided that we are going to change that event to June 28th. So there's still time to sign up, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that that ride is going to. Whoops! I hate how StreamYard does this now. And so we're going to hope that the weather holds off, and that June 28th is going to be a wonderful, beautiful, fun weekend. Now, if by chance, because the folks who have already booked their tickets, we've let them know, but we're going to be changing all of the information on all the posts and getting that out there. So again, if there's still time to book, if you're looking for a fun way to spend a Saturday, riding through some history and some beautiful countryside, and supporting small business, which is a very important thing for us and our community there. So that's going on. But if you are looking for something else to do and the ride didn't work out, we have tours all weekend long at the jail and at the Village of Historic Rugby. We have tours booked for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Those are all on the website under historicscottcojail.com for the jail itself. And then also, if you go to historyhighwayshaunts.com, then we've got those as well. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because we talked about it last week, but we did release our 222 special for, actually, let me go ahead and pull that up while we're talking about it. Bear with me just 1 second here. Just want to make sure to explain this just a little bit better because we have had some people inquire about it. Last week, we made the announcement. We did a live from the historic Scott County Jail as well as from Historic Rugby. Both Chris and I did that, and announced. Let me pull this up. There we go. So we announced that we have our 222 Red, White, and Boo Summer Special, and that's 2 haunted locations, 20 minutes apart, 2 extra hours at each location. Because the money goes to the preservation and the restoration of these locations, we can't discount the price, but we can give you extra time. And as you can see, both of these locations are only 20 minutes apart, so you can come. If you book 2 nights together, you can either do in the comments or in the post, we said you can either book 1 night and do both locations in 1 night, or you can book and do it over a 2-night period. You will end up getting, for the price of a 6.5-hour investigation, you will get an 8.5-hour investigation at both locations. So it's perfect for our traditional teams of 8 or less, or we can do, like I said, if you do them on 1 night, then if you have a team of 16, then you can split it between the 2 locations. But we, if you give us a call there on the page, we'll also be sharing this out. We'll be able to talk you through it a little bit more. But we're offering this starting June 1st and going all the way to August 30th. So it's just kind of a different way to, to when you plan a trip, we want you to come and spend the entire weekend with us, or at least spend 2 nights when you're in town. So 2 great locations to investigate. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time going over all that because our guest tonight, I know, is a very busy lady, and I can't thank her enough for coming on. She has been on the show before. She is definitely a favorite of ours and someone that I consider a very dear friend. We've been able to do several different conventions together, and I always get really excited when I see that Lee is on the bill there at the location of the convention that we're going to be doing. So if you guys will, please help me in welcoming Miss Leitreanna Brown back to our show. Hey, Lee.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me on, Miranda.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're one of my favorite people.
Well, thank you. And you truly are one of mine, because I love your outlook, your fresh approach. And honestly, one of the big things that I really like about what you do is the fact that not only are you a good storyteller, but you're a great teacher. And, your presentations that you do at the events are just, they're very interesting to listen to, but you tell it in a way that helps people that may not necessarily either be comfortable with what they're experiencing. You really create a nice welcoming environment, I guess, for folks that maybe don't know so as much about what they're experiencing.
Uh, I wanted to point out my little girl here. You probably see little ears poking up, and I can see her in the picture there. So sorry about that, but she's
No, you're
insisting on.
fine.
She hasn't been long had surgery, so she's hanging on to me pretty tight. Thank you for those. Hi, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I feel the same about you. I feel like when you're at events, yes, you are a wonderful presence online. And that, hi, Daryl. Thank you for watching. But you're also very down to earth and people can talk to you. And it means the world to me that, people can just walk up to you and have a genuine conversation with you. You're not artificial. You're just really down to earth. And I can tell you're very close with your family and you're just a wonderful, endearing lady.
Well,
So
thank you. Thank you.
that's one of the reasons why I cling to you. I'm getting a little misty because you're very special to me. That's why I bought you that little present that was
Yes.
meant for you. And guys, I found this knife. The knife it's about the size of this, okay? My little EVP recorder. And it's a motorcycle and it's got a light, a headlight that comes on. Now tell me that's not Miranda.
And I didn't even know when we were looking at it that the light lit up. And I mean, how
Uh-huh.
cool is that?
It was
I
so cool. And I
I
bought it right
actually,
then and gave it to you. It was
yes,
meant to be yours.
and I carry it on my motorcycle, and so it's
See? How
it's with me
cool.
on my travels, and I think of you always whenever I use it. So
Oh.
I appreciate that. Um, so and I just want to remind the folks, if you guys have any questions for Lee tonight, please feel free to put those over in the comments section in all caps, just so I make sure that I don't miss you all. And yeah, so Lee, why don't you go ahead, for those folks that maybe don't know you, which I think is only just a few, but for anyone that doesn't know you, um, tell me just a little bit about who you are and about your paranormal journey.
Well, my paranormal journey started with my grandmother. My grandma is she's deceased now, but I speak in present tense because she didn't stop existing. She's just in a different dimension now. So my grandmother, I'm actually in her house. We're staying here for the summer while we're working on our house, and it makes me feel really close to her. My grandmother, Virginia Scott, one of the most endearing, loving, caring, down to earth, feisty ladies that's ever, graced us with her presence. And she just sat me down, just like the birds and the bees talk, or just like, being a lady. There's certain talks
Mhm.
that you have with other ladies that are older that brings you through your being a lady, going from being a
Mhm.
kid. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
And so she sat me down and said, look, you're going to have dreams. You're going to have these things happen. And I'm praying now. Yes, Nancy, it was super cool. She sat me down and said, the women in our family, we just know stuff. That's how she
Wow.
phrased it. We just know stuff and you can't control it. Don't be mad when you don't know something. Be mad, if you're not listening.
Okay.
That's when you need to be upset with yourself because she called it instinct. She called that being one with the Lord and being able to hear what God is saying. She's My husband actually says this. The two of them were super close. We lived together before Mama Jenny passed. Mama Jenny and all of us, my mom, my grandmother, my kids, my husband, we all lived together for 25 years before we
Oh
lost
wow.
Mama Jenny. And then about 18 months later, we lost mom. So it's been a lot losing them. But they would say, my husband and my grandma, we're the only animal on the planet that doesn't listen to our instinct. We don't, we shouldn't find it unusual, but we do. And sometimes that analytical voice can be a downfall too. My grandmother said that first thing you need to do is speak with your angels and know that you've got protection as you go into the next steps. And she was praying that my angel would be the first one that I would see, and it was. It was.
Wow.
It was been a beautiful, incredible moment of my life. And, you know, I talk about it in depth. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole right now. But so I started like that. And then my father wrestled alligators for Tarzan movies. He was unique in his own way. And the Reptile Institute Dad was connected with was also connected to the Seminole tribe.
Oh,
And
okay.
so the tribe was actually a part of the Institute. And so I would go there, and when my mom and dad were doing activities or filming or whatever, I was with the ladies and the children of the tribe, and I would play with them and that kind of thing. And they taught me a lot. I told them what I could see and what all of my grandmother said, so they took it to the next level. So everything I do is just a product of how these people taught me and raised me. And I do consider myself shaman, but that is not much different than being Christian. I just go about it in a more, what would be the word? I don't know that there is an exact word, but I go about things in just a little different way.
Okay.
Just a little bit, but it's not much. And so that's who I am. And I noticed my children had gifts too. And thank God I had my mother and grandmother and my husband with me going through that, because that was a lot. And, you know, an unseen figure moving my daughter's toys so that she could play with them. Oh my gosh. Hey, Memphis Ghost Hunters. So yeah, it was. Hey, Brandon Cooper, I love you, you booger. And I am not parafamous. I think that puts me on a level I don't want to be on. I'm just trying to get the word out. Okay. So back to it. I started learning from the Seminole. I told them what my grandma knew. They helped me, and so I'm a product of all of that. My mother was a very big part of it. She had different gifts. She had the gift of prayer.
Okay.
She was very nurturing and loving, and she helped a lot with these haunted objects that I have. And so I started out with my ghost story caught on camera. We got a really great piece of evidence. And then from that, I was picked up for Ghost Inside My Child. My son is episode 1, season 1, and it's now on Roku. So if you guys have Roku, you can look that up. It's really cool. And I think I saw it on Haunt TV the other day, and I saw some excerpts from TikTok. So if you would watch that, you'll get an idea of what it was like raising my son, and my daughter was no different.
And
So
what was the other? You said Roku, Haunt TV,
yeah,
and
Roku, Haunt TV, and there's some excerpts on TikTok.
okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun going through these things and talking about it to people. But when you're living in it day to day and things are happening and your children are speaking to things that you can't see, but I could, you know, I'm supposed to be able to see these things, and how am I supposed to deal with this? So I would call my mom and my grandmother. Before long, we're all living together to, you know, help each other. And it was a beautiful thing. And I got told my story, and the next thing I knew, there was a series about just that. And they let us,
Wow.
you know, be the concept child.
Wow.
So
That's
very,
incredible.
yeah, it was a beautiful moment. And I was a little nervous because my son was young and my daughter was young, and I didn't know how people around would take it, but they actually took it really well. And there was a period there where we didn't do much until my husband started filming with Paranormal Witness. And that episode ended up being in the top 7 of all the episodes they did. His situation, he was living in a violently haunted home, Miranda. Things would fly across the room and bust and stuff like that. It was horrible. The things that happened to the kids being pushed downstairs, seeing entities through the window looking at them, seeing a little girl that had been burned, half of her face was burned, and then finding out the house, the original house, had burned and a child did die. I mean, there's just so much. But the name of the episode is Coven, the Coven on Paranormal Witness. So there was a time period where we didn't do a lot of filming. And then during COVID, I became friends with a lady that had a wonderful show. It's called, wait a minute, what is it called? The Mediums. Wait a minute, what is it called? Hold on, I'm going to get it. And I sent a message. And let me see, what is it? Jackie Dennison is her name. She's a psychic. She's rescue mediums. That's it. And
Okay.
so she has huge presence internationally. So she's from UK, and she has been practicing mediumship for decades. She's got books out. She's a teacher as well. She does spiritual retreats. And so I let her know, I said, look, the way that you see spirits and deal with these rescues that you do, talking to spirit, working with the people in the home, I see you, and I
Mm-hmm.
see the way that you feel things, and I'm the same way. I'm doing the exact same thing. And she reached back to me, and it was like two souls that knew each other. Like, where have you been? I've been looking for you. And so we did an episode on psychic rescue mediums online because of COVID. I didn't know it, but producers were watching. And so I got cast for Repossessed. And it's a story, basically, it's a concept with 8 episodes, but we go many places in one episode. And it's about haunted objects. And psychometry
Okay.
has gotten to be really big for me. I do have a haunted object laboratory now that is mobile, and use the QR code that I have, and the questions are in there. And oh gosh, if you can hear snoring right now, that's my bulldog, my Frenchie's in the room. I'm so sorry, but she's snoring like a freight train. I know you hear it, but it's not anybody in here. It's her. Lord. Anyway, yes, that's the QR code. Thank you. So you can
Excellent.
go there. I'm updating it tonight on the different events that we're doing. We've got a big summer planned, and going into fall, we've got some things going as well. So yes, please follow that QR code, and you'll be able to see where I am. You can book a reading. So after we did Repossessed, Matthew and I have been doing some filming together, and this is the first time I've really talked about it. But Matthew and I filmed for Haunted Spirits. Well, my mother also, before she passed, we filmed with Brandon Albus and Mustafa Galalori. You can see it on Haunt TV and T&E. And yes, he is a haunted object, James. Brandon, oh Lord. And so, yeah,
What was that
we,
again? I'll put that in there. You said with Brandon Alvis and Mustafa.
yes,
What was the show?
the name of the show is Family Spirits, and it's from the makers of Haunted Discoveries. That's what it says in the commercial, and then it says Family Spirits. There's a lot of commercials going right now, big push on Haunt TV, and I'm in season 2. There's already some episodes you can watch, but we talk about family members. We have some communication with family members. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. We were honored to be a part of Brandon Alvis's haunted discoveries there with the jail and with the village of Rugby.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
yeah, and I know that they were had just started working on their Family Spirits show, and I was so excited to see what they came up with this because I have so much respect for Brandon and Mustafa and the way
Me
they do
too.
things. They're, as far as shows and such that's out there, they just have such integrity when
Yes.
they're putting these videos and stuff together. So I'm really excited to hear that your story was picked up on there because that it couldn't be more perfect.
My mother loved Brandon and Mustafa, especially Mustafa. He put his arm out and she grabbed his arm, and we went all over the place, the cabin, and she was talking to him and patting his arm. Oh, she was so happy to be with him. And when I called and told him that Mom had passed, they dedicated
Oh,
that show to Mom,
that's
and I thought
perfect.
that was super sweet. And they
So
said she
perfect.
did really well on the show, so that's good. I never got to see what she said, so I'm looking forward to seeing her episode.
Do you know when that is supposed to come out?
Brandon's going to let me know, but it should be fairly soon.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
I'll let you know because it means a lot to me that they did that. And they are very wonderful
Absolutely.
guys. What I love about family spirits, they're taking an aspect, not just the spooky boo, rah aspect of dealing with the supernatural, but has gone into, hey, you can receive messages that are very important from family that need you and love you.
Yeah.
And it means a lot more if you really take the fear out of it
Hmm.
and realize that, we are part of the supernatural. We just don't
Absolutely.
realize that we're limited because we're in flesh, but we
Hmm.
won't always be. Each one of us have to die. So one
Yeah.
day we will know these things and
And,
we can be a part of it.
absolutely. And you have to really realize the fact that so they took your story and put this out there, but it has to be quite a common thing for
Yes.
that others are experiencing because they wouldn't have enough for a whole show or a whole series if they, if there wasn't more people experiencing. So that's got to kind
Oh,
of be a very comforting and
it
exciting
is.
thing too, to sort
I've
of
seen some of
pioneer
the
showing.
episodes and the heartfelt, some of it's wrenching, heart-wrenching
Oh,
episodes where they're dealing with grief. I mean, I don't think people realize that. Hey, Gwen, thank you for watching. I don't know that people realize that we are grief counselors for our clients. That
that's
is
very
something
true.
each one of us need to take more seriously, maybe even take classes on it and realize we're not just talking to our clients face to face, but we're also dealing with spirit that need our help. They need our help too.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm so thrilled about some of the new haunted objects I have. Hi, Kelsey. Thank you for watching. I was just talking to her. Thank you. I was trying to tell her how to get to you. So
Ah,
she found you. That's awesome.
wonderful. Well, let's talk a little bit. Well, first off, I want to mention just to kind of hit on a couple things that you mentioned on your journey. I couldn't imagine being a child and experiencing some of the stuff that you experienced as well as your children. What a beautiful thing for to have the support of your family and not even just it didn't sound to me like it was one of those situations where you went to them and told them, but they actually in a proactive way came
Yes.
to you. And
Yes.
that's so different than what I have heard from other people. A lot of the time, I'll hear people say, you won't believe the stuff I experienced. And I was afraid to tell anyone, or I didn't have the
Mhm.
support of my family, but maybe my mom wouldn't talk about it, but my grandma would, or
Yeah.
something of that nature,
Yeah.
and so you hear a lot about that. So what a wonderful thing for
It means
you.
everything.
Exactly.
That my family was courageous enough to come to me and say, now look, this might happen to you. It's been happening to the women in the family. It seems to be something that it's part of what we are. And Gwen actually, before mom passed, Gwen and my mother became very close. And she was able, Gwen's watching, we saw her name pop up there.
Yeah.
She was able to have her gifts nurtured by mom as well. And I feel like that passed the baton to a lot of other people because these classes, she was part of the classes she helped teach. So I feel like everyone that has been a part of these classes and workshops, even online, face to face, I feel like the baton has been passed not just to me. So I hope that we'll be able to continue
I
doing
love
these.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. And
Um,
I got to meet your mom at the last event that we did there in
oh,
Alabama,
and she
and
loved you. She talked about how
she's
pretty you are.
she was so sweet, and
Thank
so I
you.
feel I feel real honored that I had the opportunity to be able to meet her. Um, Now, so you mentioned your haunted objects. Can you talk a little bit more
Oh, sure. I'm
about your
sorry.
wonderful?
These ears, these mighty ears. They're bigger than her, and my hair's getting caught up in them. All right. So yes, I've got some really amazing objects. I received a shipment from Canada, and
Okay.
when I did, hold on, I'm gonna tell you what episode it was if I can get my brain to function. Was it that one? Was it? No. I think it was the third. The third. Hello,
Okay.
John. I think it was the third episode. No, that's anyway. It's a jail in let's see. Let me get the jail. And the man that I spoke with that was that owns the jail, he bought it and turned it into a bed and breakfast. Now, what a crazy idea! And it is haunted. And they turned the jails, and they're all black and white, themed, and they look like
Oh.
what you would see in a jail at the time. And just absolutely fantastic guy. Just love him to death. And he called me. He was like, "Look at all these cool objects I have here. What about this? What about that?" Um, and I would, he would show them to us, and I was reading them. And he called me in the like 11:30 at night. I thought, "Oh my God, what's happened?" And he said, I need your help. I bought some dolls in a estate sale." And I said, "Well, what's the matter?" He said, "I had them in the workout room." And I said, "Yeah, I know where that is." And he had them on the bench in the workout room, and he had them all sitting up there. And he heard something, and he went into the room at night, and he had his flashlight, and he was going through, and two of them jumped off the bench at him.
Wow.
And
Okay.
he's like, "No, no, that is not going to work for me." His name is Benji Steele, and he did not mess with the supernatural, although he lived in a jail where people were executed inside the jail. They didn't take them out and hang them out. It was actually in the wintertime in the jail. They had a trap door, and they would hang them right there on solitary,
Okay.
and we investigated all that, including some of the hanging ropes they had. And he said, "Oh my God, this is scary." And Natasha, his partner, came out, and she had been hearing walking. And she says, "No, that's Ben, get out there and find out what's going on." And then when these things jumped at him, it was like, "Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So they got a box. He called me and said, "These are on the way." It's 11:45 at night. And he put all the dolls and all the clothes and everything in the box. And he used an entire roll of box tape. Round and round and round and round and round. And I said, "At least let me pay you for the dolls." He said, "No, I don't want to make a penny off these things. You can have them. I don't want them around me. I don't play with the supernatural. This is why." And I said, "Well, let me pay for postage." And he said, "Okay, you can do that." So I sent him the postage, and it was here really quick. And we opened them up, and Mom pointed her finger, and they went out on the porch. It took me a while to process them. Gwen helped me. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen. I know you're watching. But yeah, these things are intense. I was setting up the haunted object lab, and somebody in the room was having a malfunction and kind of cussing at whatever it was, the technical problem he had, and the doll bit me.
Wow.
It bit me. I had teeth marks on my arm, but when you get scratched and it's a spiritual thing and it
Yeah.
burns, feels like from the inside. It
Yes.
burned from the inside. I think she was really afraid. I think that's all it was. Do you want to see her?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Go get her. Give me just a second.
Sure. Sure. All right. So we'll just kind of talk for a few minutes while Lee goes and gets one of the dolls there. Again, if anybody has any questions, if you're just tuning in, I have Miss Leitreanna Brown, and we're talking about her haunted objects lab. We're talking about her paranormal journey, and then also her books. Wow.
This is her. And I have been looking at this.
Huh.
I think that is DNA. I think that might even be blood. And
Huh.
oh my goodness, her arm's coming off. Look here. See how it's.
That's definitely an older doll because that
Yes, it
looks
is.
that looks similar, at
She
least the
has
face
teeth.
style.
See her teeth?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to have to do some work on you, honey. You need some help.
Is that
But
one from like the 40s?
yeah,
It is.
the lady that owned these dolls was murdered by her husband and dismembered.
Really?
And so, Miranda, I just saw this when I picked it up. Just look, that looks like blood.
It does look like blood. Now, was the lady who owned the dolls, did she just have a large collection? She liked dolls?
Yeah, he bought a big, um, like an estate sale, because
Okay.
the husband was going to jail and things needed to be wrapped up. So, a lot of things were being auctioned. And
How
he was
long?
there.
I'm sorry, please go on.
Yeah. So this happened 3 months before the auction when I got them at the end of the year last year. So
Wow.
I have the obituary, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
put it out there because she's a beautiful lady, and I just I don't
Was she,
understand this.
was she older?
No.
No.
I
Okay.
don't know why she had such these older dolls,
Uh-huh.
but it's even on her fingers.
Oh, wow.
I don't understand how I missed that. I'm gonna have to get the blue light flashlight thing,
Yeah.
see if
Yeah.
this is, because it'll show.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait, what if I felt like I had it on one of the other
Exclusive
dolls.
here.
Yeah, it's exclusive here. Poor little thing.
Did he murder her in the same room as the dolls?
Mhm.
Wow.
And if nothing else, I felt like the energy of the deed itself, the trauma that she went through,
Yeah.
and even him, because it dismembering someone that you've married and that you've loved, there's just a lot. It's just a whole lot. For the
That's
both of
very
them.
passionate, very personal.
Yeah, it's a crime of passion, as you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what an awful night that had to be. And these objects or dolls were meant to hold spirits. That's what they, and so therefore it's very easy for them to hold emotional moments like that, where it's just a little capture of time. Let me see if I can get her to where you can see her. That arm
Is
is
it
really,
like a memory stored?
but I don't think that's it. I really don't. I feel like there a lot of people have had a lot of you know responses to these objects, and the lab is set up not for me to go through and say, and this
Mm.
next one is this, and it came from there, and I've
Yeah.
read it. Me, I. Who cares, Plus, I have a theory that,
Okay.
and I think a lot of people prescribe to this, but depending on the attitude that you have whenever you see something that may have energy, consciousness, or even a haunting,
Mhm.
if you go in with a bad attitude, you're going to get a bad attitude. The energy is
That's
going to
right.
meet you. If you go in with honorable intentions and love in your heart, and you're trying to make friends and do something to help people, then that is what you will get usually. And so I feel
100%.
the same way with haunted objects, and that makes sense to me. I think that you're with me on that. So
Hmm.
what I'm doing with the lab, I'm getting chills. I know I'm right because that's my indicator. Either that or she's telling me something. Maybe I'm suffering. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I'm sure I'm right. I feel like I'm getting these answers, and I'm going a little deeper now because I want to find out some of their ethnicity, some of their age, and things like that. Because we had a young lady that went through the haunted object lab, and this one object from Poland is a military object. It really spoke to her, and she was emotionally distraught standing in front of this. She went through it with her husband, and she was kind of, ooh. And then after she went through it, I could tell, now she's distracted because she's feeling something. She went through it again, now with a purpose. And then the
Yes.
third time, she just went in and she just stood like this, looking at that object. And she was welling up in tears. And she said, I can't leave this object. And I said, well, sweetheart, what do you feel? She said, I'm overwhelmed with sadness. And she just kept talking, and I'm listening. My husband's actually the one that got her talking. And then she said, well, you see, I'm from Poland, and we both just
Um,
about, wow, because the object is from that as well. And when we told her that, I had some of my ghost hunting equipment with
mhm.
me. I had EVP recorder where you can do a few things and rewind it and listen, or you can do
Uh-huh.
K2 and that kind of thing. She had those and a ghost
Okay.
box. And she stood there 45 minutes talking to him. First, she was afraid of him. Now they're friends. And after she talked to him and spent some time with him, um, she came away and she said, that really was amazing. I feel really great about that. And I said, so you went from being a novice in ghost hunting to having a psychic connection with an object, and now you've spoken at length with a spirit for 30 minutes. Do you believe in ghosts? And she was like, yeah.
Now,
And
was
I'm
she?
open.
Did she have psychic abilities when she came in, or was this
Well,
something?
she suspected it, but she
Okay.
hadn't been validated. And that's the point of what I do. That's it right there. Everybody's got a bit of psychic ability. It's a matter of what God wants you to have at the moment. What is your objective? Having the right intention is what it takes to do any kind of touch healing or meditation,
Hmm.
prayer, just old-fashioned prayer.
Hmm.
So I look at ghost hunting the
Hmm.
same way. If I'm going to make connection with something that's
I
interdimensional, I want them to know who I am from the start and why I'm there.
absolutely, absolutely, and we see that all the time at the jail. When people come in, if they have pure intention and they're respectful, and I mean, you can tell if they have good energy amongst the team, everything they'll
Everything's
reap
different.
good benefits, yeah,
Yep.
from it. Now
And
get
I
to get
mean,
to
you can
Bob's.
have I'm sorry.
No, no, please go on.
I was going to say you can have a positive attitude and still be a skeptic.
That's
It's,
exactly
it's
right.
not, it doesn't mean you have to go in and just be congenial the whole time and, oh, yes, la, 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 flower child. You
Hmm.
don't have to. You have to say, well, I'm not feeling that, or I'm not doing that, or I don't feel anything
Hmm.
right now. Like Bob is saying. So a person without special gifts, let's say someone that's not tuned in. First of all, you
Hmm.
do have spiritual gifts.
Hmm. Yeah.
Everybody knows a bit about that, but they may not have leaned into it. I mean, it's even in the Bible. Everybody's got a
Hmm.
different, and it's even in the Bible how to balance your own spiritual gifts. So I'm going from that premise and saying everybody has it, but maybe they don't know how it tunes in.
Hmm.
I will tell you, my book, Your Psychic Connection, talks about it either being a whisper, like a gentle kiss, or it could be a hurricane. Like
Okay.
I am not getting on that plane. I'm not getting on that plane, and then the plane go down. There's moments that are like that. So you have to listen. Okay. So Bob is asking, how can you tell if an object is haunted or possessed? Now, there's a difference between something being haunted and something being possessed. And when you talk about haunted objects, possession doesn't necessarily, it can go two ways. It doesn't mean that a demon is in the doll. It can mean that someone is inhabiting the doll, so therefore it is inhabited. That doesn't mean that it's Annabelle possessed. In the show Repossessed, we investigated a little clown doll when we were in Florida. And the clown doll was actually from a murder investigation. These two young people they were very much in love. And this crazy maniac serial killer just decided he was going to kill that day. And
Mm.
the boyfriend died protecting the girlfriend, but both of them died. But now they're
Okay.
inhabiting that clown doll because
Wow.
they're hiding. That's their heaven. They're together, they're safe. They don't want anybody bothering them. They don't want to be separated. They are healing in there. And so, therefore, I wanted them to know that, first of all, I am so sorry what happened to you. I grieve with you that your life ended so young and in such a violent way. But I want you to know that there are those of us that care and love, and we wouldn't want to separate you. And I just tried to give them some energy that would help them be calm, kind of like a sedative. Just chill out. Here you go. So if you have an object that is haunted, you're likely to have goosebumps on your arms when you're around it. Trust your instinct, because when you feel something like that, like maybe something's looking at you, or you don't feel like you're alone, you can back it down to an object if that is the case. If something is inhabited, it's even more so. You may actually even hear words into your, and you're wondering what in the world. Vivid dreams are one way because people are relaxed. And so therefore the dreams can come through when you're not blocking it. And then the last, if it's possessed, this is really bad. You can have an object that has energy in it from a violent event that is not possessed by a demon or any intelligence, but because it has that one moment of pure rage, pure violence, domestic assault, and murder, it can affect everybody around you. Like we just got an object tonight, a young lady, God bless her, she was murdered. Her husband went to her job, got her in the parking lot, and shot her dead. And she was, for some reason, attached to this particular object. And the lady that I met said that she's been having marital problems. She's having problems with her father, wanting to protect her from her husband. And nobody knows where that's coming from. She feels like she needs to cry when she gets near her father's place, which is where the object was. Not in the home, but it was on the property. But anyway, I don't want to give away too much because I don't want anybody, this is a confidential thing, but it was affecting them. And, we're having to make that object dormant so that the spirit that is attached to it can get some peace because she's attached to the trauma. We've got to find a way to heal the trauma, get it neutralized so that she can go on evolving into the spirit she's meant to be. She didn't get to do it in life, so why not now? Healing comes in every stage of life, including death. And prayer works interdimensionally. So that's the way that is. And if you have a situation where something's possessed, you will know it. You'll smell it. You'll see it. You'll have dreams about it. Crap will hit the fan. You won't be able to, do many things. So that's when you need to start backing it backwards and say, when did the crap start hitting the fan? I had just gone to this yard sale and I picked up that blanket. That might be it. If you think that you have an attachment from an object, John Zappis told me this years ago, take an Epsom salt bath. Get your wash rag and just wash everything. You can take a bath afterwards to get the salt off if you need to. But Epsom salt neutralizes the energy of what an attachment would have to connect to you. Because it's all about energy, right? So the salt will actually stop that.
Now, is it common, because you had mentioned when you were talking about the difference in a haunting, a possession, that sort of thing, is it common or is it possible for a demon to possess an object?
Yes, and I've been trying to develop some theories about that. Why would a demon want to be in an object? Wouldn't he or she or it prefer doing its job by taunting us and trying to bring about downfall? I feel like the only way that an object is possessed is if something is put in it and sealed, like a debit box, okay? Or if there's a way that someone can be tricked to thinking, oh, this is like the story of Annabelle. Oh, this is a child, and I want to take care of the child. And they develop an unhealthy codependence. And the next thing you know, now it's got control. That's the whole point. You have to know their method of operation or their MO. Their method of operation is to kill and destroy and to make miserable, to steal, So that's kind of where you need to know these objects are. They come in, if they're possessed, they come in under false pretenses. And the next thing you know, there's a
control thing, really.
Yes, there's shenanigans happening, and we have to stop and think, wait a minute, back it up. When did we start having this problem? It might have been Christmas. Okay, if it's Christmas, what do? Everybody gets their clothes laundered in Epsom salt water, but that's all right. We're going to find it. And then whenever somebody is developing a an unhealthy obsession, connection with an inanimate object, that's it. That's where it's at, because that's what it wants to
Wow.
do.
Do most people, do you find that from your cases that you've dealt with, that most people are able to handle or combat that unhealthy attachment, like they know it's happening, or do they tend to have to depend more on the people around them to
Tell
notice
them.
that?
That's a great question. Nobody's asked me that, and that's a great question, a very logical one. Thank you. No, people don't usually. It once the attachment starts, they don't let go of it. It's as strong as an addiction, and the people around them have to step in, and it usually ends up having to be more than two people to be able to intervene.
Okay. Wow.
Me doing it by myself was quite a stretch because that was a lot.
Yeah.
There was some interesting things going on there.
Well, and that's such a different, it's such a different aspect of the paranormal because there is so many different facets to it. You know, we kind of talked a little bit about that last night on Chris's show with myself and Shane. And you know, it's there are so many different sides of it, and
There
so many
are.
different reasons people get into it. It's not just about the haunted house or just about the haunted object. You know, there's even just when you start drilling into, if your specialty is haunted or attachments with objects, there's so many different facets to that as well, and
Yeah.
it's just fascinating.
Throw in different people's culture and religion
Yes,
because if someone's from a different culture, then the supernatural is going to affect them differently.
absolutely.
I was working on a study. I've had to set it aside for a while, but there were people being haunted by um, members of their neighborhood that died from the tsunami that hit,
Oh,
and it was then the flooding, and so many
yes,
people drowned.
yes.
People were coming. They showed up at someone's house, soaking wet, and it was just happening over and over. And then they'd go get clothes and bring back to them, and they're gone, and water everywhere. And there was a Tibetan
Unsolved
priest that was
mysteries.
yes, there was a thing
Did
on Unsolved Mysteries
yes,
about it, and I was
yeah.
working with a Tibetan priest. I was studying it. I wanted to know what he was doing and saying, and he was readily using psychics. So that was hand in
Wow.
hand. So I was watching from a distance, not really interfering with what they were doing, but I
Yeah.
wanted to see what their methods were that were different. And they believed that these spirits would come, but they also, for the majority of the people that had these experiences and their families did, they believed in reincarnation, and they were hoping that they would
Oh,
be able to reincarnate. But with him being a Tibetan monk, the Tibetan Book of the Dead meant for enlightenment, and reincarnation is only for those that didn't pass the tests at the beginning after death. And so he was trying to help them ascend. And it was just a mess because some people were thinking
wow.
that, and other people were thinking that. And meanwhile, these people are coming and water everywhere. Yeah.
That's interesting because that's one of my favorite unsolved mysteries episodes because it's so unique, and because of the hauntings that they were having or the interaction they were having, but then also because it's a totally different culture, and
Totally.
it makes you wonder, because we've had some devastating events with all the tornadoes and all the different the hurricanes and
Yes.
such, and of course the fires. it I wonder if those type of events that happened here in America, if those happened in another country that had that type of belief system, if you would have more activity like that they were having with the tsunami.
I think that they had a lot more activity and embraced it more and was able to get a lot more done um, than we have. Being in the South,
Yeah.
experiencing the hurricaneator, I call it the tornado hurricane,
Yep.
hurricane, that, and then of course the Western North Carolina fires, and
Yeah.
there's just a lot that's happened here. I lost my
Hmm.
mom, my grandmother, and then the hurricane tornado thingy, and we had a lot of damage. If you look at it and you compare it to, and I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I'm a nerd.
You're
Just
fine.
hang on, buckle up. If you look at the Victorian era, the age of spiritualism, they were dealing with cholera and tuberculosis and measles and so many different things, plus the long reign of Queen Victoria, and she was kind of a goth anyway.
Yeah.
And people were, I mean, children didn't live past 5 a lot of times.
No.
And people were dying in childbirth. It's just a lot of death. And people were wearing these veils even in the summertime, and black. They would wear black depending on who died for years. And so there's just a lot that was happening in the age of spiritualism. And then the one thing kicked off with the Fox sisters, they had a haunting with knocking. And it just hit the fan when they said that they were told a man had been buried there. He was killed, and then they found some bones and hair. The neighbors just went crazy. And before you know it, we had the Society for Psychical Research. And it not only that, a lot of people think that's all it was. No. There was a Society for Psychical Research in Italy, France, Spain. It was all over the whole world. And here we are. This is an evergreen topic. A lot of people will say, oh, the supernatural's not paying right now. The TV shows that bull crap.
Yeah.
We had COVID and COVID-related deaths where people had blood clots in their body because they had COVID, and 2 years later they die from a brain aneurysm or something in their lung, and that kind of thing, and it's all from having had COVID. And so those deaths just continued years, and we're still seeing it.
Yeah.
And then we have tornadoes, hurricanes. We've had power off for 3 weeks, and people that were on oxygen couldn't. I mean, we were actually working with hospice, getting people to generators so that they could remain on oxygen. I know they were dying, but they didn't need to be in the woods, where we were visiting. Oxygen, the power went out. So I mean, we had a mess. It was just a mess. This is the second age of spiritualism. This is an evergreen topic. It's not changing. How products will mature and fade out. This one's not.
No.
Just as soon as we think it is, something else happens. And we've had since Katrina, we've been aware of these natural disasters. And we have more equipment. That's one of the reasons why, okay, I did your psychic connection, and so your kids, so you think your kid's psychic. Those 2 books are meant to be together. And I think any adult that has a kid that's psychic, or if they once thought they were psychic as a child and they think they are now, they should read both books. But the next book that I'm revising, it started out as a little workbook my husband did for a class. And it was cheaper to get them printed like this, put them out and get them printed like this with a little, the idea was it was same size as a romance novel. It could fit in the back of the or ghost investigations. But since that time, we have realized and been told there's more to this story. People were hungry for. That's what they said. They were hungry for it. So I'm redoing it with my husband. Actually, as soon as we're off here, I'm going to go into it some more, and we're going to try to wrap this up. But in the Victorian era, you would be shocked at the way that they were able to use the methodology they did, but get the information they did, and then go back in history and look what happened at this location, and it was synchronized.
Wow.
They would investigate one place for 4 years and longer. And we had people that were poets, people that worked with Charles Darwin. They were on his investigative team working on the Darwin evolution theories. And those were the same people in the psychical research group, including Harry Houdini. It wasn't all fake and compasses and talcum powder. It wasn't. There was a lot to it. And I'm hoping in the future I'm going to be able to get my hands on some of these types of equipment. I'd love to have antique ones, but if I have to make them myself, so be it. I've always used compasses and pendulums, but I'm ready to
Oh.
start using some other stuff and
Well,
see what we find out.
well, and to tell you, to kind of hit on that point, and then I want to go into talking about your books and show your video. But so at the Village of Historic Rugby, it's a Victorian village, and
Woohoo!
so yes, a European or British Victorian village, and an interesting thing. So the library there, it was established in 1882, and it's the oldest lending library that's still here in the United States. And so, I mean, they've got first editions of Black Beauty, Swiss Family Robinsons, uh,
Serious.
yes, Arabian Nights, and it's still together. There's only 5 books that are missing from this library. And so when you go in there and look, they have spiritualism books in there. The oldest book is from 1692, and they have some of the original Victorian spiritualist books in there. And I would love to just sit and read some of those books because those are authentic and from that time, because the Victorians, they were truly obsessed with the occult, and a lot of the superstitions and a lot of the things that we look at today was very relevant at that time, and still today. And so I feel like we can. It hasn't really changed much. It's just sort
Where
of
is this Victorian village?
it's 20 minutes from where I'm at here. It's the Village of Historic Rugby, and that's one of them that we allow investigations at. And so yeah,
I
it's
would I would love to get my act together with the instruments that I want to use.
that
This
would be perfect.
dress in Victorian dress
Hmm.
and go there and do both.
Yeah.
Have a Victorian ghost hunt and
Hmm.
then use the equipment after and see
Hmm.
if the dress, if the methodology will be trigger items.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and it's the activity they have there is amazing. And we had Haunted Discoveries come and investigate
Really.
there. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I knew that you had
Uh-huh.
filmed with them.
Hmm.
We should get Brandon on and let's the three of us talk about the
That
place.
would be
Wouldn't
that would
that
be
be fun?
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but yeah, you can
Now
find
I've
out
got a
more.
bucket list.
Yeah, that one is, I mean, the history is so unique being here in East Tennessee. I mean, you wouldn't think of somewhere so preserved as and it's a living village to this day. There's 16 of the original 48 structures still standing, and people that there's a community of about 50 people that still live there. Some of them are in the original homes, and others are, it's a subdivision that they had to build the home in the same vein as the old Victorian homes. And it was an experimental utopian society where Thomas Hughes came and experimented with a Christian socialist community, a utopian community. And of course, utopian communities, they don't last, but it's very well preserved, and it's on the historic registry. It's a very unique and interesting place. And when teams come to investigate there, we always tell them it's like these were enlightened folks. Yes, you go and investigate the jail. It's totally different style of investigating than when you come there, because you are speaking to the second and third sons of England, and just a very educated, high class society. And it's a very unique activity, very cool
So
place.
my dream would be to go to the village of historic Rugby
Hmm.
and then investigate the library and then have high tea in the cemetery. Wouldn't that be
Yep.
fun? Or have a picnic in the park, in the cemetery like they used
Uh-huh.
to
Like
in
they used to
Victorian
do.
era?
Uh-huh. Because
Wouldn't
it
that
was
be
such a different
amazing?
place. It was such a different place. You need to come, and we can hook you up.
I would love it. I would love it.
It
Oh my Lord.
it is definitely a interesting place, and that's some of the stuff that I talk about on my cemetery tour there, is because that's one of the
Oh, you
things
have
they
a
do.
cemetery tour. Of course you
I
do.
do. I do.
Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we use dowsing rods in there, and I show people how to use them to find unmarked graves, and but just the legend and lore, and just what they used to do in the cemetery is something a lot of
Amazing.
people don't think about.
Well, once I get the
But
book done, maybe I could do a book signing at the library. Maybe you could help me
absolutely,
because
absolutely,
it's about that. I mean, what I'm just
yeah.
having it there would be
Let's
incredible. Oh my Lord.
let's
Oh,
definitely talk more on that. Okay, so that's a good transition into your books. I know here we are at the top of the hour. Just in case
oh, I'm
anybody
sorry.
is tuning in last minute, we have Miss Leitreanna Brown here, and we're talking about haunted objects. We're talking about her paranormal journey, and tell us a little bit about your books, and then I want to show or would you rather show the video first
Let's show the
and then
video
talk?
first. Yeah.
Okay, pull that up.
Network Television, a division of Family Spirit Supernatural LLC, is thrilled to announce the extended revisions of two best-selling books, just in time to elevate your bookshelf or audiobook queue. Your psychic connection is back and better than ever. This newly revised edition helps you unlock, develop, and trust your psychic abilities with powerful exercises, spirit guide insights, and real-life stories. Whether you're just discovering your gifts or refining them, this is your go-to guide to psychic awakening. So, you think your kid is psychic now includes even more tools for families. Does your child see spirits, have intense dreams, or know things they shouldn't? This updated version helps you identify, protect, and nurture your child's unique gifts with safety and confidence. Breaking news. Coming June 21st, the chilling new release, Haunted Objects, Possessions That Refuse to Die. Explore cursed items, haunted heirlooms, and real paranormal case files from Family Spirit Paranormal Investigations. It's spooky, it's real, it's unforgettable. Join us June 21st at the Savannah Paranormal Museum. Get your books signed, tour the Haunted Object Lab, explore the museum, and top it off with a live psychic reading from Leitreanna Brown herself. All titles available now on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Thrift Books, Llewellyn. All Access Network Television, every story, every voice, all access.
Girl, I don't know how you have time to do anything, sleep or just do anything.
Well, I think that about you too. So the Victorian book I don't have on there. I've been rewriting it with my husband. It's gone from a small little, workbook to something much bigger. And but the Haunted Object book is going to be wonderful, and releasing it and having the book release at the Haunted Object Savannah Paranormal Museum is going to be incredible on the 21st. I'm so excited. So, the book, So You Think Your Kid is Psychic. Basically, there's 5 of us that have written about it, including my mom. And what we've done is we take certain questions that people have asked us the most, and we give practical, first we give answers to them. And then we have little questions that we ask back, and then we have practical stories of things that have happened and how it went and what was said and that type of thing. And it really helps. I think it helps not just the child but the parents. And we do have a part 2 planned, but I haven't. I got a lot to work on right now. I can't do it too. But I'm thrilled to do the haunted object book, in addition to the Victorian ghost hunting. Um, I, I really feel like the 2 though that I've picked that I've already released, again, Your Psychic Connection and So You Think Your Kid is Psychic, works hand in hand. Because at one time as a child, before we were told to suppress things, before we were told that people wouldn't understand, before we were afraid of what people would think, we would have our moments, and something stopped us from being able to talk about it or think about it. It could be just simply growing up and things stopped. Well, sometimes when we go through like puberty or whatever, things do, they will stop,
Yeah.
but they come back. And when they come back, they're even stronger. And people are going through a psychic, I call it like upgrade. And things happen and they're wondering, why do I feel so bad? Why am I tired all the time? Why are my eyes blurry? There's a lot of things that are part of spiritually leveling up, and they don't realize that's what it is. Why do I have insomnia? Sometimes it's not about something you can take a pill to fix. So that's
Okay.
what we're doing. I'm excited about it. I'm very thrilled. Your psychic connection also has a section on manifesting. And when you
Okay.
manifest, you have to drill down with your intention. What is your intention? And then not only do you speak that intention, you have to start taking action on that intention.
Mm-hmm.
And then I teach anchoring, how that works. Very similar to wearing a cross. This is to remind me of God's sacrifice. Okay, well, if I have another picture in my wallet, like I would use my cell phone, and I have a picture of myself as a child on here. If I'm going through a lot and I look at it and tell the little girl, look, you're going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. That kind of thing. I use other things to help me anchor those prayers, but basically it's to keep your mind focused so that you can bring it into existence. Sometimes it's at the right place, the right time, the right energy, the right people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
very
probably, yeah.
teaching manifesting. So you are blessed and you will be blessed. So those of you
Absolutely.
that are interested in manifesting, and the next one, I will have more about meditation. I should have gone into that a little more, but there's just so much you can do in one book.
Yeah. Now, do you do online classes if anyone is interested in a
I
class?
do.
Or
I do online classes. I teach through Piedmont Technical College, and I'll have 2 physical locations this year. I'll be teaching in Greenwood, South Carolina, and Abbeville, South Carolina, at the Piedmont Technical College satellites, but I'll also be doing classes online. The date will be announced soon. I actually had another meeting on the phone today, and we're working on when that will be. I'm thinking around August. The classes will start. Instead of doing 6 weeks, I'm going to do 2 weeks, and it's going to be a little more condensed because people are still trying to travel and have fun in August and that kind of thing. But I'd like for them to have a fun time come fall, because the spooky season's my season.
that's right. That's right. Now, is the best place for any of that information, is that the QR code that we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, guys, if you're watching here, please go on and you can find more information there by scanning the QR code. Also, I'm going to pull up, let's see here. Yes, I can only share one screen at a time. Yes, apparently I can. And you can also go on and visit Leitreanna's website. And can't get more simple than that. It's Leitreanna.com.
Yeah.
And
I figured I had FamilySpirit.net for the longest, and I kept getting information about adoption because the other website was very similar. And I said, well, we're just going to go with my first name. It's unique and it'll go. So Leitreanna.com.
absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, definitely go on, check out what Lee is doing, because I can guarantee you got something for everybody. And
Thank you.
if there's one thing that she's doing that you're interested in, I'm sure you can find many things that she's doing here. So
Same
scan
with
the
you.
QR
You're
code.
always having fun times. I would love to bring a motorcycle right into a place with you. That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so when are your revised books coming out again?
They're available now.
They're available now? Okay, perfect, perfect. And you've got multiple events. I know
I
if
do.
you so what's the best where are the best places to follow you on the social sites to
Go to
come and meet you?
Google my name. Google my name. It'll take you to my Instagram, my Facebook pages. You'll see me on TikTok. But my name is real unique, so it's kind of convenient. It just pops right up there. I'll be in Seneca at the Dark, Strange, and Mysterious Market, Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, and the 15th. On the Saturday the 14th, I'm having a ghost hunt at the Haygood Mill in Pickens. Brandon Cooper is helping me. I'm really excited about it. We're actually going to camp on site.
Very cool.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to throw tents out and sleep among all the spirits that are there. We do have access to the petroglyphs, and we have access to the cabins. If it rains, we'll still investigate in the cabins and just go from spot to spot. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
Then on the 21st of this month, I will be at the Savannah Paranormal Museum with Chris Susie and Megan Jones. They're wonderful people. I'll be able to release my haunted object book there. And I'm really excited also about that because the haunted object lab will be right there beside their haunted objects and paranormal objects. And I'm hoping that it's just going to be a big explosion. I hope all the spirits are happy and having a party like we are. And I will be doing readings. I wanted to have, of course, I wanted to go in the cemetery and I would love a glass of wine in the cemetery. But I decided not to do it too much going on at once. We'll try it again. And then I will be in Connecticut in July. Let's see. Hold on. I want to get the exact date for that because my brain just died on me. So this is the Paracon, Paraconn, because it's in Connecticut, Waterbury, Connecticut. So Conn. Butch Patrick from the Munsters will be there. So will Tom Gormley and Charles. Let's see. He's Rosenay. They are the directors of these. And gosh, there's so many people that will be there. John Zaffis, he will be doing a ghost hunt. And you can have dinner with the Godfather himself. We have Kenneth Drake, April Brusette, Father Torres. Gosh, there's so many. Lords and Ron with the static home.
Yeah, Yakovettis.
Yes, thank you. The name was not happening.
I've had them on the show, and I just love Ron and Lourdes.
Isn't it the truth? I love Lourdes. I like Ron too, of course. He's a wonderful man. But something about Lourdes, she's just a mess.
she is, and she's just, she's so special. I mean,
she is,
because she's, she's got such great theories on things, and just such a personable person to talk to.
Absolutely.
I really enjoy them.
And last but not least, I will be doing the Deep South Paracomic-Con. And it is in September. So that is deepsouthparacomic-con.com if you're interested in getting tickets. By the way, I would like to give away a ticket tonight. So those of you watching, if you would like a ticket, if you would message Miranda and say that you would like to be in the drawing for the ticket, that's only 64 days away. So it's coming up pretty quickly. And they're doing 3 different charities: the Boys and Girls Club, the Noonan Syndrome Foundation, and Life South Blood Centers. And so all of this is to benefit a good cause. This is August the 9th and 10th in Ozark, Alabama.
Okay. And so they just need to message me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And the event is going to be fantastic. The object lab will be there at all of these locations. Her eyes have moved. Now she's looking straight ahead. When I showed her a minute,
she had a side eye.
No.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, no. They went straight for a second. I don't know. This dog.
They were straight when you were looking, and yeah.
I was trying to just not be abusive to her, but just see if they're stuck. I'm daresome to do too much because she bit the fire out of me. It was as bad as a bee sting or yellow jacket. Yeah. Poor thing. Poor thing. I'll let you know if I can figure out if this is blood.
Please do, because I mean wow, that's fascinating. Sonia says she was smiling at one point earlier.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I looked down at her and she was smiling. I hope you're smiling, sweetheart. I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. I tried to brush her hair. I was afraid to do too much.
Those older dolls are challenging with that. Yeah.
I have a doll that is from the Titanic era. The doll was given as a coping tool for children that survived the Titanic.
Wow.
And the girl that's in the doll, her name is Sarah Beth.
Okay.
And she comes across on EVPs all the time. She'll say her name is, Sarah Beth. I'm Sarah Beth. She's so sweet. And but that little voice, I'm Sarah Beth. It's so sweet. And she'll just talk to you. You can have full-on sentences with her. I'll have her now too.
Okay. Wow. Well, Lee, this has just been absolutely fascinating. I have truly enjoyed it. I could talk to you for hours just about all kinds of different topics. I know I'm taking you over.
I'm sorry.
No, you are perfectly
fine.
I'm
so happy to be with you. It's a wonderful thing to be able to spend time with you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everyone over here in the chat room that has spent time with us tonight with your questions, your comments. It's been a lot of fun. If anybody wants to reach out to you with any questions about either your classes, or maybe if they have a haunted item question or anything, is it best that they message you through Facebook, or should they?
Facebook. My email is family. Here, let me send it to you in chat and you can copy paste it.
Okay, perfect. And while you're sending that, before we get off, I know I didn't want to miss any questions, and we had 2 different questions here. So while you're messaging that, James asks, do you have a favorite haunted object? I'm sure that's a hard one.
I do. It's a compact from the Victorian era. And when you look in it, you can see her behind you.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can see her behind you. And it is so fancy. And it still has some of the powder in it. And I don't know, it's just the Victorian, Gothic woman in me somewhere. That's my favorite. I love it. I have that, and I have an opera type pocketbook that's made of these little beads, and it fits in there perfectly. And sometimes when I go on dates with my husband and we go to, like orchestra concerts and stuff, I'll carry it with me. I'm wondering if the girls are with me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then this one is a little more of a personal question. Bob says that his dad passed, and after he passed, he came to him in a dream. My mom passed, and I've never heard from her. My mom committed suicide. Is that why she has not contacted me? Is she somehow not allowed to?
First of all, someone committing suicide that's an illness. Okay. And it's also a trauma. So I am positive there's some things that your mother has to work through. It's a horrible trauma that she did to herself. I've never heard anyone in spirit say, you know what, best thing I ever did was commit suicide. It's always something, I wish I hadn't done it or whatever. I don't think that it has anything to do with her not wanting to contact you. It could be part of her shame, dealing with what she did, knowing that she put you through that. Also, ask your dad. Hold on. I'm getting that she's saying that she's always with you. She always said that she would be with you. And something about, I don't know if it's coffee, like a mug. I see a cup, a mug. And whenever you're sitting there and you're having your drink, beverage, and when she would sit with you, she's still there with you. I just don't think she's figured out how all of this works yet. Okay? Because, remember now, we're not like the Japanese we were talking about. We don't think we're supposed to be able to communicate. For the most part, we don't do that. So she's got to figure out you're okay with it, and then she's got to figure out how to do it. There's just a lot of things to work through, plus her trauma, depending on how she committed suicide. If there's a chemical involved, she's got foggy brain, and it's going to take her a minute to get normalized. I'm sure your dad coming to you was a blessing. I'm curious is if his lips were moving, because lots of times when spirits come to you, their eyes, I'm looking down at this doll, I'm checking the eyes, their lips won't move. And that's them just communicating directly. And I believe that is more likely, more often than not, that is a direct communication with the spirit because of the method they choose to communicate. I'm sorry your mom hasn't reached out to you, but I do feel that she is with you. I just feel like she's got more challenges, and just be patient with her. And hopefully, as soon as she figures out you're okay with her talking to you and you're not going to be traumatized by it, because that's a big thing.
Okay.
Because lots of times people, he was real and talked to me, his lips were moving. Okay, so you know that it was him. That's great. Talk with your dad, see if he can help your mom. But sometimes it's not their problem either, not just their problem, but it's ours. Because I found my mom she passed away in the floor in the middle of the night. And it took her a little bit to be able to talk directly to me, because she always felt like she should be somewhere else, and that it would traumatize me and make me relive the moment of finding her.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had to get to the point where hearing from her wasn't making me have a trauma. So, we finally got to that point. So, Bob, work on that. Check yourself and see if it's a trauma, if she comes to you, that you won't automatically, revert to tell me about, what you did. Why did you do it? Was it my fault? Could I have changed anything? Don't even talk about that. Don't even let it cross your mind. Give yourself an opportunity to forgive yourself and her for what happened. And then once you are able to say that, then let's look at it. And I'll be here if you need me.
Thank you, Lee. That's
yeah.
And
I
thank you.
I don't want anybody to have any extra trauma because somebody tried to, have a message. That's not what we're trying to do here. We want everybody to be blessed and loved and healing. And if it's something that's going to cause you trauma, Bob, just hold on a minute before you, look for it.
Yeah.
Don't look at it as rejection. Look at it as in its right timing.
That's 100% the right time. And that's what, I'm always telling people that reach out.
I just got the chill. That's my confirmation chill. Okay, that's it. That's exactly what it is.
It is 100% all about timing. And Bob, thank you for the personal question. That
good job, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And of course, James says he wants to meet Sarah Beth.
You want to meet Sarah Beth, James? She's in the other room, but I'm not going to hold everybody up and go get her. She's beautiful, but boy, she was in rough shape. Somebody was dragging her with a piece of lace tied around her neck, dragging them behind, kids,
Yeah.
And so I had to stitch her back together, and she looks pretty good now, but I have to be very careful with her.
I can understand that. Well, thank you for sharing everything that you have with us tonight and sharing your time with us, Lee. I know, like I said, you're extremely busy, and it's very much appreciated and always great to catch up with you.
Thank you. I love spending time with you.
And again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Next week, we will be back on. And unless something changes, we'll be doing a review of last week's investigation that we did there at the historic bank building with the World War II military cot. We'll be talking about the different captures that we had with the experiences. So if you want to go back, rewatch that episode, send me your timestamps of some of your favorite moments. I know Bob has sent some links or sometimes, and Sonia, some of the different folks have sent some different timestamps that we'll be talking about next week. And again, come join us on one of our either lantern tours lantern tours at the Village of Historic Rugby or at the historic Scott County Jail. And you can go on to historyhighwayshaunts.com, and it has direct links to either the Village of Rugby, Historic Rugby After Dark, or the historic Scott County Jail. So come join us on one of those tours, and also on our motorcycle ride that we're having at the end of the month. So lots of great things planned for this month and in the months coming up, and lots of great shows that are coming up as well. So I hope everyone stays safe during these storms that are coming through. And oh, I want to make sure to share this. I just saw the let me share this right quick. This is the Gmail account that that Lee sent, and we'll pull that up online. Anyone can go back and look at the comment sections to find these direct links, as well as find this information, the QR codes, the different sites that we've pulled up on the screen. So please go back. If you didn't tune in till later, watch the entire episode. Support these content creators. Follow Lee's pages. It's something, a lot of time, effort, and love goes into putting this content out. So stay safe, everyone, in the storms this weekend, and we will see you all next week. Take care, everybody.